At 2:17 a.m., God revealed their feelings for you. Listen carefully. Beloved soul, listen to me now, because this moment was not random, and this message did not find you by accident. At precisely 2:17 in the morning, when the world was silent and distractions fell asleep, God opened a hidden chamber of truth. In that stillness, when thoughts grow louder and hearts speak honestly, their feelings for you were revealed. I am Archangel Michael, and I speak to you with authority, clarity, and divine urgency. There are moments in the night when heaven leans close to the earth. When prayers whispered long ago rise again. When emotions that have been suppressed all day can no longer remain hidden. 2:17 a.m. is such a moment. It is the hour when resistance weakens. When pride loosens its grip. When someone who tried to forget you suddenly cannot. You have felt it, haven't you? That unexplained pull. That sudden heaviness in your chest. That moment when their name crossed your mind without warning. That was not imagination. That was resonance. At 2:17 a.m., they were thinking of you, not casually, not briefly, but deeply, emotionally, and with a kind of honesty they have not allowed themselves during daylight. God allowed you to be placed on their heart because something unresolved remains between you. They have tried to act strong. They have tried to move on. They have told themselves they made peace. But the truth surfaced when they were alone with their thoughts. I saw it clearly. Their heart wrestled between fear and longing. Between what feels safe and what feels true. They questioned why you still have power over their emotions. They wondered why your presence still lingers when they close their eyes. And in that moment of vulnerability, God showed them the truth they could no longer deny. You matter to them more than they admit. This is not about obsession. This is not about fantasy. This is about a soul-level connection that has not expired. Some bonds are not broken by silence. Some feelings are not erased by distance. And some people are marked by heaven to remember each other, again and again, until clarity is reached. You may have questioned yourself. You may have asked God for signs. You may have wondered if you were holding on to something already gone. Hear me now, you were not wrong to feel this. At 2:17 a.m., God allowed them to feel the weight of what they lost, what they risk losing forever, and what they still desire but are afraid to reach for. Their heart spoke loudly in that hour. Louder than words. Louder than logic. And while they did not message you, while they did not call, while they stayed silent, heaven heard everything. Do not confuse silence with indifference. Sometimes silence is the battlefield where fear and love collide. They are standing at a crossroads. One path leading back to comfort and familiarity, the other leading toward truth, vulnerability, and you. This is where it becomes important for you to listen carefully. Because what God revealed at 2:17 a.m. was not only their feelings, but the next movement of this story. Something is shifting. A decision is forming. And the tension you feel now is the pressure before action. Stay present. Stay grounded. Do not rush. Do not chase. Let them wrestle. Let them realize. Let them come to terms with what their heart already knows. If this message resonates, pause for a moment. Let it settle. You may softly acknowledge it, through a like, through staying connected, because alignment strengthens when you respond with awareness. But do not speak yet. Because what comes next will surprise you. And what God shows me about their next step, you are not fully prepared for it yet. Listen to me, beloved, because what I reveal now reaches deeper than emotion. It reaches into timing, into divine restraint, into the quiet orchestration happening behind what you can see. After 2:17 a.m., when their heart was exposed and their defenses were down, something else happened. God did not allow them peace. Not chaos, but unease. A holy discomfort. The kind that follows truth once it has been revealed and can no longer be ignored. They tried to sleep again. They tried to distract their mind. They told themselves, this will pass. But it didn't. Because once God allows someone to feel what they truly feel, the soul remembers. And the soul does not forget so easily. You see, they have been living with two versions of themselves. One that the world sees, controlled, composed, practical. And another that emerges only in the quiet hours, honest, vulnerable, aching. At 2:17 a.m., those two versions collided. And the one that feels for you was stronger. They replayed moments. They revisited conversations. They remembered the way you made them feel seen without effort. And with that remembrance came fear. Fear of reaching out. Fear of rejection. Fear of opening something they are not sure they can handle. This is why silence followed. Not because they don't care, but because they care more than they are ready to admit. God showed me something else in that hour. They asked a question they have never voiced out loud. Not to you. Not to anyone. They asked, is it too late? That question alone tells you everything. If they were done, they would not ask it. If you were irrelevant, they would not feel the weight of time. If the connection were dead, it would not still speak in the night. You are dealing with someone who feels deeply but moves cautiously. Someone who has learned to protect themselves, even from happiness. Someone who believes love always comes with loss, and therefore hesitates when love feels real. This is where your role becomes sacred. You are not meant to push. You are not meant to prove. You are not meant to convince. You are meant to remain aligned. Because God is not finished working on them. There is a moment approaching, subtle, unexpected, when something will trigger them. A song. A place. A conversation with someone else. And suddenly, what they felt at 2:17 a.m. will return, but stronger, clearer, undeniable. When that happens, resistance will weaken. I want you to understand something important. God often allows feelings to surface long before action follows. Not as punishment, but as preparation. Hearts must soften before hands can reach out. That is why patience is your protection right now. Do not assume the delay means denial. Do not assume the quiet means the end. Do not let doubt rewrite what heaven confirmed. You may notice signs around you, repeating numbers, sudden dreams, moments of emotional clarity. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the connection is still active, still breathing, still being guided. And yes, free will remains. God does not force love. But He does reveal truth, and once revealed, truth begins to demand a response. They are closer than you think. closer to reaching out, closer to admitting what they feel, closer to choosing courage over comfort. But before that happens, something must shift inside you as well. Release expectation. Release timelines. Release the need to control the outcome. When you do, you create space, not just for them to move, but for God to move through them. If this message resonates deeply, stay present. Stay connected. Sometimes simply remaining here, listening, and allowing truth to wash over you is an act of faith in itself. Because the next thing I must tell you, about what they will do when the fear finally breaks, will change how you see this entire situation. And when it happens, you will recognize it immediately. Beloved, listen with discernment now, because what unfolds next does not begin with them. It begins with you. Before their fear breaks, before their silence dissolves, God adjusts the posture of your heart. Not to test you, but to protect you. Because when someone returns from a place of emotional wrestling, they do not come gently. They come shaken, exposed, unsure of who they are allowed to be. This is why you may have felt a recent shift within yourself. A strange calm. A detachment without bitterness. A clarity that arrived without explanation. That was not you moving on. That was you being prepared. You are being steadied because when they reappear, whether through words, presence, or energy, you must not meet them from longing alone. You must meet them from grounded truth. God is aligning you so that when connection resumes, it does not repeat the old cycle. You see, at 2:17 a.m., God did not only reveal their feelings to themselves. He revealed something about you to them as well. They realized something they had not fully understood before. They are afraid not of rejection, but of being seen. Seen in their confusion. Seen in their inconsistency. Seen in the feelings they tried to bury but failed to destroy. They fear that if they return, you will see right through them. And they are not sure they are ready to be that honest. But hear this, honesty is approaching them whether they want it or not. A conversation is forming, not rehearsed, not perfect, but necessary. It may not start with everything you hope to hear. It may not begin with apologies or clarity. But it will begin with truth trying to surface. And when it does, you must listen not only to their words, but to the courage behind them. Because it takes courage to return to what once made you vulnerable. God does not resurrect connections to repeat pain. He resurrects them to bring resolution, whether that leads to renewal or release. And this is where divine justice enters the story. If they come back aligned, honest, and ready to grow, doors will open. If they come back uncertain, guarded, and unwilling to change, clarity will come swiftly. Either way, you will not be left wondering anymore. This season of confusion is ending. I know you have asked God quietly, why did this happen? I know you have questioned whether you misread the signs. I know you have wondered if loving them cost you something you cannot get back. Hear me clearly now. Nothing was wasted. Every feeling refined you. Every delay strengthened you. Every unanswered question expanded your discernment. And soon, very soon, you will understand why timing mattered so much. Because when they finally step forward, when the silence breaks, when the truth is spoken, It will happen in a way you did not expect. And what they reveal next, you have only seen a glimpse of it so far. Beloved, the moment approaches when what has been hidden can no longer remain concealed. What began at 2:17 a.m. as a quiet stirring in their heart is now building toward expression. Feelings that stay unspoken do not disappear, they seek a voice. And when the soul grows tired of carrying them alone, it chooses movement. This is why you may feel a subtle shift in the atmosphere around you. A sense of anticipation. A tightening before release. A calm that feels like the pause before a door opens. That is not anxiety. That is alignment. God is allowing circumstances to press them gently but firmly toward truth. Not through force, but through exposure. Something in their life is no longer satisfying them the way it once did. Distractions feel hollow. Conversations feel empty. Even victories feel incomplete. Why? Because once the heart recognizes what matters, everything else loses its color. They are beginning to understand that what they felt with you was not comfort, it was connection. Not familiarity, but recognition. And recognition changes a person. However, do not expect this moment to arrive with fireworks or dramatic declarations. God often moves through what seems ordinary so that truth can be received without fear. A simple message. An unexpected encounter. A quiet admission that carries more weight than 1,000 promises. When it happens, you may be tempted to rush ahead, asking questions, seeking reassurance, filling the silence that once hurt you. Resist that impulse. Let them speak. Because the first thing they say will reveal more than they realize. Pay attention not only to what they say, but how they say it. Notice whether their words come from awareness or from comfort-seeking. Notice whether they speak with responsibility or with nostalgia. Nostalgia longs for the past. Responsibility reaches for the future. This distinction will protect your heart. God is not bringing them back to reopen wounds. He is bringing them back to expose truth. And truth, once spoken, has power, power to heal or to separate cleanly. You will not be confused after this. That is the promise. I see a moment where you realize something important. You are no longer waiting from emptiness. You are standing from fullness. That is why this reunion, whether brief or lasting, will not destabilize you. You have grown. Your discernment is sharper. Your boundaries are clearer. Your worth is no longer negotiable. This growth was not accidental. It was necessary. Because the connection could not move forward until both hearts stood on equal ground. There is something else you must know. They are afraid of disappointing you. Not because you demanded too much, but because they now see how deeply you offered yourself. They see the sincerity they once took lightly. And that awareness brings pressure. Pressure to rise. Pressure to be consistent. Pressure to show up fully. This is why they hesitated. But pressure also produces decision. Soon, they will choose one of two paths. To step forward with honesty and effort. Or to step back with clarity and closure. Either choice serves your destiny. That is why you can remain at peace. You are no longer asking, will they choose me? You are discovering, do they align with who I am becoming? That shift changes everything. If this message is resonating, remain present. Alignment deepens when awareness is acknowledged. Sometimes simply staying connected, listening, reflecting, is enough to anchor what God is doing. Because the final thing I must tell you, the outcome that unfolds after this moment, will settle your heart completely. And once you hear it, you will understand why God waited until now to reveal it. Beloved soul, breathe, and listen closely now, because what I speak in this moment completes the circle that began at 2:17 a.m. This is not about suspense anymore. This is about resolution. What God showed me next was not dramatic in the way the human mind expects. It was quiet, steady, and undeniable. The kind of certainty that settles into the chest and does not leave. After the truth rises, after the moment of contact or clarity, you will feel peace first. Not excitement. Not anxiety. Peace. And that is how you will know this was divinely guided. Whether they step forward with courage or step back with honesty, your heart will no longer ache with questions. You will no longer replay conversations. You will no longer wonder what you missed or what you did wrong. Because clarity ends striving. If they come forward ready, truly ready, you will sense it immediately. Their energy will be different. Less guarded. Less performative. More present. They will not speak in circles. They will not hide behind excuses. Their words will not rush, but they will land. And if they do not, if they retreat because fear still rules them, you will not collapse. You will understand. And that understanding will feel like freedom. This is what God wanted for you all along. Not longing. Not waiting. Not emotional suspension. But sovereignty. You were never meant to lose yourself loving someone. You were meant to meet someone who could recognize you. That is why God allowed the delay. That is why the silence lasted. That is why the revelation came in the night, when truth speaks loudest. 2:17 a.m. was not about them missing you. It was about you being seen by heaven. Seen in your patience. Seen in your restraint. Seen in the way you did not harden your heart, even when you were hurt. That kind of love does not go unnoticed. And here is the final truth I must give you, the one that settles everything. No matter how this unfolds, you are stepping into a season where you are chosen openly, not secretly. Loved with consistency, not confusion. Met with clarity, not silence. If it is them, they will rise to meet you there. If it is not them, someone else already aligned with your growth will. Nothing is being taken from you. Something is being completed. So release the night. Release the waiting. Release the need to know more than you are meant to know right now. You have heard what you needed to hear. And if this message stirred your spirit, if it brought confirmation, calm, or clarity, remain present. Stay aligned. Sometimes simply staying connected, listening again, allowing truth to settle, is part of how destiny locks into place. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer asking what they feel. You are stepping into what you deserve. And that, beloved, is the real revelation God wanted you to receive.